Hello, I'm Professor Kitch, and I'm here to welcome you to ENGR2318, Economics and Sustainability of Infrastructure. I'm really excited to have you all in this online class this semester, and this is our quick introduction to the course. And the first step is to answer the question, have you downloaded the syllabus and read it yet? If the answer is no, stop! Go on to Blackboard right now and download the syllabus. This little introduction is basically going to be walking through material in the syllabus, so stop now and download the syllabus. Okay, now that you've got your syllabus downloaded, you can follow along. Here's the stuff we're going to learn in this webinar. First, you need to be able to list the required technologies you need to complete this course. And then I want you to be able to describe this concept of a guided discovery, which we're going to use as a teaching model in this course. Next, you got to be able to locate the course materials online. There are 5 learning outcomes for the course itself, and you should be able to paraphrase them. I'm not going to go over them on this video, but you should be able to find them in the course syllabus and be able to understand what those are. You need to describe the way the weekly workflow is normally going to go in the course. I'll go over that in just a few moments. You want to be able to describe the course project. That's the key component of this course that we're going to use for that guided discovery part of the course. And then we got a bunch of different communication tools in this course. You need to know what they are and how we're going to use them. And then finally, you need to be able to look up the weightings for everything so you know how much everything's worth, so you know what to spend your time on. So let's briefly talk about the technology requirements of this course. You will need a computer. It doesn't need to be a laptop computer, but you'll need a computer. It'll need to have some sort of a webcam. And then you'll need to be a way to talk and listen, either a headset or a speaker and microphones. You will also need good high-speed internet access. If you don't have good high-speed internet access, you're not going to be able to get this course done. And please, please, please do not try and complete this course on a cell phone. You'll get frustrated. I'll get frustrated. Get a computer and get the right computer. A warning. This course is under redesign. There's a lot of changes to this course this semester. The first one is that it's being taught online for the first time, and there's a lot of changes associated with that. Secondly, we've expanded this course so that it covers material both for mechanical engineering and civil engineering. Up to now, it's been very civil engineering focused, and we want to be sure it's appropriate for all of our students. We're also moving towards this guided discovery learning mode. What this means is a significant portion of the course where you're going to have to go out and find the materials to cover the learning outcomes. We're basically going to be using the course project to do this. Now, you're not going to be on your own to this. I will guide you through that process, but this is not going to be like a course where you start at chapter 1 in the textbook and go to chapter 2 and then chapter 3 and chapter 4. You're going to be actively engaged in creating the materials for this course for yourself and your team. Finally, we're going to be focusing on sustainable development for this course more than infrastructure economics. The course has taken a little bit of a change in flavor along those lines, and sustainable development is the main key word for this course now. And now what I'm going to do is take you onto Blackboard so you can see some of the resources there you're going to need. Okay, now let's take a look at what's available for you on Blackboard, at least some of the key things. The first thing you'll probably want to do is come here and download the CV and syllabus. I hope you've already done that. The next place we're going to look here is at the textbook. There are 2 textbooks for this course. They're both available to you for free. This first textbook, Thies and Tompkins, is an open source book, and it's available from OpenStax. If you open that up, you'll find it right here. You can open up the table of contents. Now, you can either read this particular book online, or you can click the Get This Book and download a PDF version of it. That's what I'm using because I like the PDFs. I can mark them up. You can use it either way. I need to point out to you that there's a important difference between the online version of the book and the downloaded PDF, and it's only in the numbering, but there's a numbering difference which is important. So let me scroll down here to the table of contents of the PDF version, and in the PDF version you notice that the foreword is not numbered, neither is the preface, and the first chapter starts with chapter 1. Well, in the online version, the foreword is numbered 1, the preface is numbered 2, and then the first chapter is actually numbered 3. So in order to get to what's chapter number 3 in the online version, is chapter number 1 in the PDF. I originally had the PDF for this and made all my notes from the PDF, so I listed PDF sections. I'm trying to remember to translate those also to the online sections, but if you get confused, just remember that the online sections chapters are 2 numbers bigger than the ones in the PDF. The text is all the same, so you can use it either way. The other book we're going to be using is this book by Fixel. It's available to you through a subscription at the library through Access Engineering, and if you click on this link, it'll take you to Access Engineering. You'll probably have to log in. I've already logged in. The easiest way to find this book is to type in sustainability, pick sustainability engineering, and you're going to click on that and do a search. And it's going to bring up 21,000 things, but that's okay. We happen to remember that the book author's name is Fixel, which is a weird name. F-I-K, there he is, Joseph Fixel, and you click on that, apply the filter, and bingo, there's the book, Design for Environment, A Guide to Sustainable Product Development. So this will get you into the book. And you can mark up within Access Engineering. I think you can even download some pieces of it and stuff, but here's that book. You also probably want to go up and create your own account in Access Engineering. When you do that, you can come and bookmark things. So I've got all these books bookmarked, so when I come in here, I don't have to search for it every time. I just go click the bookmark. So that's where your 2 textbooks are. I hope you're happy about that. They're both free and available to you. The other thing I want to point out, just quickly walk through how each of these modules is going to look. I'll talk about the order for the week a little later, but in each of your modules, you're going to click on the module, and within the module, there'll be the sub-modules. Each module represents, they're a week. Some of them are a little more than a week. But when you open each one of these, you're going to see your outline for the lesson. The first thing that comes up is the outline. And this one, the reading, and it'll list the readings. And the readings happen to be over here in this one because it's the syllabus. If I click on that, it's going to open the syllabus. And then the next thing you're going to see here is a quiz. There's going to be a quiz after each set of readings. It's just a really fast quiz to take you through the readings. 1, to encourage you to read them, and 2, to give you a little bonus for having read them. So there's going to be a quiz for each section. And the next thing you're going to see on these is a link to the discussion board. So we have a discussion board here. This was taking the place of face-to-face classes, so you must participate in the discussion boards. And the discussion boards, when you get to the discussion board, you'll find that there is a forum for each of the modules. So this, when you click on that link, it'll take you directly into Forum 1. And then you'll see that there's a discussion for each module. So my expectation is that each one of these modules, I put a starter question in there. And so this one's a simple introduction to yourself, just to get used to using the system. So please come in here, and then you're going to have to put a reply in there. And then as the course goes on, I will ask you to respond to other students' questions and reply to them. So we have an online discussion going on. You can also get to the discussion board just by coming to this link, and that'll take you direct to the discussion board. And then you'll see that there's going to be different forums for each module. The only one that's available right now is Module 1. So that's how that works. You're going to go to the module. You're going to go to the sub-module. It's the first thing you'll see is an outline. It'll list everything I got to do. In this case, here's some readings. And then there'll be a quiz, and then there'll be a discussion board for the model. So that's how Blackboard works. I hope you find that useful and helpful. Now I'd like to walk through a typical week so you know how the class is set up week by week. So typically on Sunday, I will have posted all the assignments for the week. That'll have all the readings and all the videos and all the quizzes that you need to do, along with the discussion board posts that you're going to have to do. So this is Sunday right now while I'm recording this, so I'm hoping it's up by midnight. Typically I'll have them done way earlier than this, but I'm having a rough week this week. I don't know about you guys. So on Tuesday, I'm going to expect you to have posted to the discussion boards on the Blackboard the things that I asked you to discuss on the Blackboard. So you have to have all your readings done by Tuesday, and by the midnight on Tuesday, have all your posts done to that board. And usually there's going to be 1 to 3 discussion questions for you to go over. Then by Thursday, I expect you to have replied to the posts of all the other students. So that gives you 2 days to do that. Now, if you're a student who's posting up late, other students aren't going to be able to reply to yours, and that's going to affect your grade. So that your online discussion participation is a key part of this course. So you've got to get together and discuss stuff online. And then on Saturdays, your end of the week's exercise will be submitted. You have an exercise every week that kind of sums up all the stuff for that week to make sure that you've attained all the learning outcomes for that week, and you're going to put that you're going to submit that on Saturdays. So that's the basic operation of a week. This week is going to be different because everybody's just getting started, and I'm posting up the material probably, like 10 o'clock at night or something like that on Sunday. So this week, you will not have a Tuesday and a Thursday discussion. You're only expected to have all of your discussions up by Thursday. If you have time to comment on other people's, that's great. But this week, it's going to be Thursday, and you will have a Saturday submittal due. But the typical week is going to run Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So that'll be a normal week. Let's spend some time talking about the course project. So it's a semester-long project. This is like the key component on this course where you're going to get to decide what you want to do and find your own pathway for reaching the learning outcomes for this course. It needs to be focused on a broad engineering issue or problem that's of interest to you. It could be something like, I recommend picking a project that you already know something about or something you're interested in. It could be something like the flooding on Avenue P in San Angelo. Or it could be a product that you're interested in understanding how it comes to market. It could be almost anything, but there needs to be a broad issue or problem that you want to solve. You're going to look at this from a systems level view. This is a key part of sustainable development, is understanding that if you look at a problem from the inside out and look at a teeny bit of it, you're not going to get the right solution. You really need to look at it from a systems point of view. So that's why it's a big project. You'll be working in teams of 4 or 5 students. That gives me an adequate participation within the teams without them being too big. You get to propose the topics and you get to propose the teams. So you guys are going to decide what topics you want to do. You're going to post them up and have a discussion about what they are, kind of a consensus of whose team you want to be on. You're going to form your own teams. I'll be there to referee and help if you need that. But you get to pick the projects and you get to set up the teams. Kind of hard to do a guided discovery if I'm setting up your own teams for you. So that's how the course project's going to go. Let's take some time now to talk about the different communication tools we're going to use. So we're going to be using all these different communication tools for this course. Blackboard you should already know about. If you're a transfer student, it's new to you. You're going to have to get used to it. That's the main source of all the information that I'm going to be sending to you. And I know Blackboard sends out way too many notices, but you're going to have to pay attention to what's going on in Blackboard. I put announcements on Blackboard. I expect that you see them and read them. And then you'll have to be in Blackboard to do your discussions. So you're going to get to know Blackboard. We can use email. I'm happy to get emails from you. If you're going to email me, be sure to use your ASU email account. I know some of you would rather use another account, but if you're using another account, I may not see it. So I will have a filter set up for the course and the students in the course. So all your emails go to a box that I can find quickly and respond to. And if it comes from someplace else, I may not see it. I get a lot of emails. So make sure your emails come from your ASU email address. I'll try and get you a 4-hour response on those. Normally it'll be faster than that, but I have meetings and I teach classes. I have some classes that last 3 hours long. So if you email me right before one of those, I can't possibly respond in less than 3 hours. So I will respond within 4 hours, pretty much from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night. And then I usually work on Sunday evenings to get ready for the next week. So if you want to get a hold of me on Sunday, I usually will respond on Sundays. There's a text program, which actually your colleagues taught me about, called GroupMe, which is a way to text people back and forth without having to actually share your actual cell phone numbers. You don't need to share cell phone numbers. It's called GroupMe. There's a QR code for GroupMe for the GroupMe group that I've already set up for this course. It's in your syllabus, so just scan that QR code from your smartphone. It'll take you to GroupMe. You can use GroupMe without downloading the app, but I highly recommend that you do download the app because there's a bunch of stuff you can't do without downloading the app. So download the GroupMe app, put it on your smartphone, Scan that QR code, and that's how you should text me. And I'll give you a 2-hour response on those. My response might be, hey, I got to get back to you because I'm in the middle of lab or something. But I can respond to those faster, obviously, because they're text messages. But if you ask me a big question on there that takes some time to respond to, my initial response might be, I'll have to email you on this. I'll be back to you by such and such a time. And I'll have the same sort of active hours there, 8 to 8 Monday through Friday, and then Sunday 7 to 10. We'll be using GradeScope for the online submittals. If you haven't used that before, I think you'll find it pretty easy to use. It links into Blackboard, and it's just a way to submit your online submittals. All your online submittals need to be in PDF form to do that. So you'll have to get stuff in PDF form. There's a million ways to do that. If you're not sure how to do that, now's a good time to start figuring it out. If you got questions, ask me. For your project, I will have every team create a Google Drive, and you'll be working on Google Docs and such things for your project. That allows me to look at who's doing what in the project and to keep track of who the contributors are and who's contributing how much, so I can figure out if everybody's contributing equally in the project. And it also gives you backup materials. So we'll be using Google Drives. You may want to take, when you finally get the final project ready to submit, you may want to pull it out of Google Drives and put it in Word so you can do a little bit better editing on it or make it look pretty in the end. But we're going to be doing all the composition and everything on Google Drives. And finally, we will be having online meetings. I won't be having online meetings for the course as a whole, but I will have online meetings with your teams regularly. In fact, we'll talk about that in the schedule in just a minute. And I'll be using WebEx for those meetings. That's a pretty good meeting tool. It works better than the Collaborate meeting one within Blackboard because it's easier to share content and stuff in the WebEx. So we'll be using WebEx. And you can also see everybody in it, where on the Collaborate one, you can only see 3 people at a time or something like that. So those are the communication tools we'll be using. You need to get familiar with them. If you're not, now's a good time to start. If you got questions about those, please ask. Okay, you probably want to know what the percentage things are worth, and here it is. So your reading quizzes that you have to do for the reading stuff is worth 10% of your grade. That's kind of I realize reading quizzes are a stick more than a carrot. They're not hard, but I want you to be sure to do the readings because you can't just wing this stuff. If we're going to do this discovery process together, you're going to have to read the materials and get into them. Your online participation is going to be worth a whole 20%, 2-letter grades. So that means if you are not participating in the discussion boards, you're going to be a hurting pup because you're giving up all kinds of points there. I will post a rubric for how I score the discussion boards. So you can't just drop in and say, oh yeah, it looks cool to me. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That's not going to be an acceptable discussion board response. So look at the rubric and make sure that they're meaningful discussions. Realize this is taking the place of face-to-face class discussions. So participate with the online discussion boards. The weekly exercises that you're going to turn in at the end of the week are worth 20%. Your exams are worth 20%. There's 2 exams. They're both going to be take-home exams, 10% each. And then your project is going to be worth a whopping 30%. So that's the way the distribution lays out. I want to just briefly talk about the course outline, just so you know how it's laid out. So there's 4 modules in the course. The first 3 really are the fundamental tools that you're going to have to use to analyze your project, and the 4th one is really working on your project. But I've got project milestones interspersed throughout the project. So the first course is the introduction. Today's the introduction to the course itself, and the next 2 sections are really introduction to sustainability concepts and systems engineering. And then while you're going through the introductory material, you guys, if you see the column there for project milestones, you're going to be proposing the topics that you want to discuss, and you're going to establish the teams for those topics. And then module 2, we're going to talk about different components of sustainability. And you'll notice that in this when you get to this module, I have interspersed between the modules that are actually study modules, if you want to call these things called project presentations. And so here's where I'm going to meet with each of the teams, and you guys are going to do a quick presentation on where you're at with your project. I'm going to help you go over it so that at the end of those weeks, you'll see that there's a project deliverable due. So the first big project deliverable due is this project proposal. So during that week, I'll meet with y'all individually in teams. You'll present your proposal. I'll give you some critiques of it. You can rewrite it and turn it in on the weekend. And then you see later in this one, there's a project proposal where you have to do your first systems analysis of the project. And so that one is, again, when you get to that one, I will meet with you individually in groups. And when you'll present what you've got so far, I will review that and critique it and give you some pointers. And then you can submit that at the end of the week. So as you notice, as we get through the syllabus, we get less and less of these teaching classes and more and more working on the project. That'll take us to Module 3, which is the economic analysis part of this. And we're going to spend 2 weeks talking about economic analysis. The first one talking about the time value of money, and the second one learning about how to do life cycle cost analysis. And then you're going to be doing that economic analysis of your project. So that next week is when you're going to be finishing that. Now you can't just start these big pieces of your project on that week that you got to get them done. You need to be working on them during the rest of the week, or during the rest of the previous part of that module, excuse me, so that last week you're just finally putting it together and polishing it. And then that last module, you're actually just going to be finishing up the final project applications of the project. And in that part of the module, you're going to have to be going out and finding very specific sustainability measures and things that apply to your specific project. If you're looking at a building and you're doing a green building design, you might be looking at LEED. If you're looking at a lean manufacturing process, then you're going to be looking for lean manufacturing guidelines and procedures. So this is, when you get to this fourth module of the course, you're really going to be out there on your own a whole lot more in your self-guided discovery part of this, learning how sustainable development is applied to the specific problem that you're interested in. So that's the basic flow of the course. Your final report is your culminating experience for the course, so there's no final exam. So I hope that gives you a good overview of the course as a whole. I welcome you to this course. It's going to be an exciting course. It's going to be fun. I'm learning a lot along with you on this course because I've known a lot about green design in my particular areas, but I've never really looked at sustainable development from a broad point of view. And so this has been a lot of fun for me already to get the materials ready for you. And I expect to be a whole lot of fun to work with you on your projects and to find out where this guided discovery process takes you and your team. So with that summary, I'll turn you loose on all the material that's in the Blackboard for this week. Please get it, read it. It's introductory material, should go pretty quickly and easily. And have a great Ramgineer day and a Ramgineer week. And I'll see you online.